Have you ever wondered how companies like Google and Amazon turn raw data into powerful insights? It all has to do with data processing or data managing, but I'm getting too technical here. What you need to know is basically, okay, what are the key components to what makes these big technical companies actually get a lot of value from data. Why is data so powerful, and what makes it so important for Facebook and Google, Amazon, etc. to actually use this data and uh, develop further services from them. So here I'm going to present five key components of good data processing. Basically, what we're going for is data collection, data cleaning, data storage, data analysis, and data visualization. So there are 5 steps of the process to effective data processing, also called data management, and these are what we need to get right in order to actually get us for as these companies have done with data. As you know, many of these companies have grown from a small niche, a small subsection. Like Amazon, for instance, started as a digital bookstore and then developed eventually, and it all had to do with management of data and understanding how data can be used and leveraged in a great way. So I'm going to go through these 5 components one step at a time. All starts with data collection. What data are you collecting, either from your customers, your employees, the market in general, your sales, your suppliers, other sources, etc. And often, and this may either be data generated by yourself or data you get from other sources. In many cases, you can easily manage to set up systems and get softwares which allows you to generate data and get an understanding of what data is. For instance, in an accounting software, you may have an accountant and so on, and an accounting software you manage all your finances and such. And then you also quickly, when you start to grow, you need bigger type of software to manage these bigger volumes of data that you're producing, either for trades, contracts, and so on. And then eventually, when you want other sources, like for instance integrations to banks and your suppliers, your customers, and so on, and other and connect different platforms, then you quickly need to connect to an API or set up other integrations to manage to get this data. But it all starts with understanding why are you getting this information, why are you getting this data, and that starts with collecting accurate and relevant data. So first of all, we need to understand if we're planning to get a new data source, get more information into the company that we want to have. Okay, why do we want this data? What are we going to do with this data? Why is this relevant for us? That's a key understanding to get first, because a lot of companies just try to get all the data they can and don't really do anything about it, and that can leave a lot of complexity and confusion when it comes to actually understanding this data. So that's really important. That's a key step to get right. If you get that wrong, then it can have some risk in the long term, to put it that way. So yeah, that's key. And assess the relevance and also assess the the accuracy of it, because different data sources usually have different levels of accuracy. Is it updated? Are there missing values? Are there duplicates and so on? There are many cases where there can be errors or problems in the data that makes it not so accurate, or kind of maybe misleading when you're trying to understand the data from in the later stage of data analysis. So this is key to get right. Find the relevant data, and make sure that it's accurate. You can actually trust it, or if you can trust it, is it possible to do some cleaning here? Which gets us to the next step. That's the data cleaning. So we need to remove errors, we need to remove inconsistency in the data, and when we actually clean the data, we naturally get much more reliable analysis of our data, because it's accurate for real. And yeah, so this step goes partly together with data collection, but it's an important step, next step, when we have found that we're going to use this data source, we want this information, and why we want this information. It's accurate enough that we can use it, but we may have to clean it first, and by that I mean doing these things like remove errors and inconsistencies, and making sure that it's fully updated, it's accurate, and it can actually be used, and it's reliable for that type of analysis. So both data collection, data cleaning, it goes together, and all of these goes together in one sense or the other. But yes, this is a very important part of the early stage process. Before we can do anything with the data, we need to make sure that it gets into our system and we can actually view it in a good way. After we've collected and cleaned the data, we have to store it. So we need to make sure that it's stored in a good way. And the more data we have, the more difficult and expensive it may be to store data. If you don't have a lot of data, then it's not so difficult in a sense. A lot of people, a lot of companies which aren't extremely big, or don't have departments or companies which don't have a lot of data, may still use somewhat outdated systems for data management, or like not follow best practices. For instance, okay, just have the data in Excel or something else, which is not really ideal. But when you get to the point where you have more data to manage, you need to have a system and a software, most likely, that makes sure that it's stored efficiently and securely. It needs to have good security protocols and be efficient, so that you can actually more easily get the data into this storage solution that you're using, and get it from the storage and use it for analyses. So that's the key. That's the key thing, and yeah, then you of course need to assess the different options. Are you going to use what type of database are you going to use? Are you going to have it on the cloud or on a remote server, and so on. I'm not going to go into the differences between on remote and cloud here. I will take that up in another video. But yeah, so when you've found a good solution for storing your data, then okay, it's there, it's yours, and you can actually start doing something with it. And that's what gets you to the data analysis part. Now you can actually do the fun part, so to speak, where you start reviewing the data. You can look through it, use some tools for trying to better understand. Okay, what is the data telling us? Getting insights from that, and it's from those types of insights it's possible to get an understanding of what's going on going on in the data, going on in the business, and to make and from there make rational decisions based on what the data is telling you. okay, is that product really really cost efficient, or is this product better? Okay, then we should focus on boosting this product, and not be so concerned about this product. Or what about the demographics, and or what type of people like the different products, and how do we use that to and how do we leverage that for marketing purposes when we target different audiences for these different products and services, and so on. So yeah, when you've analyzed the data, then you can visualize it. So data analysis and data visualization kind of goes together like data collection and data cleaning. It's in the data analysis, it's in the visualization that the insights can be made. Usually, especially in the bigger organizations, there are people who are hired as data analysts, and basically producing reports using visualizations. So they analyze it first, trying to get an understanding, but when they're going to present this information to decision makers and so on, they need to visualize it first, so that people, the decision makers who may not have as technical a background, can also understand what does this mean, what does this mean for the company, how can I make decisions based on this information. So yeah, this has been the 5 key components of effective data processing. I hope this video has been helpful to get a better understanding of what does data processing, data management really mean. This is it from start to finish, basically, and it tackles a lot of what data management is on a large scale, on a very broad level. And then of course there are so many things I could go through in each of these 5 steps, and all about the frameworks and the strategies and so on. But this is what in essence it means to be data driven. When you follow when you have this process with data process, or this system with data processing real right, a great infrastructure for that sets you up to be among the greatest for the data driven companies. Hope this video has been helpful to you all. Leave a comment below if you're wondering about anything, have questions about this topic, and I hope you all have a great week.